Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. We do appreciate it. We're live streaming here every weekday starting at 1 p.m. and we are on our social media channels. We're on our website and we're on our app, so lots of places to find this show and engage in the content and the segments that we get to have on here. Right now, though, we're talking about something, well, I know a lot of people here in the Northwest and all over the place love their pets. I certainly love mine, but there is that always worry, and this is something that we're going to be talking about that we've probably all gone through if you've been a pet owner, where you find a lump or something's wrong and you worry about it, and obviously you get your pet in for veterinary care, and then you go from there, and it could go a lot of different directions. But there is something out there that is actually a tailored pet cancer vaccine, something that's combining some pretty cutting-edge science and some traditional methods, and we're going to talk about that now and go through this because I am not a medical expert, but we do have one joining us right now. We've got Dr. Stacy Montgomery Dove Lewis, who's the director of hospice care there at Dove Lewis, and Doctor, thank you, very much for joining us here today, and for what you do to help people out with their pets and what they're going through. To give a little bit of context on that, can you talk about that? What some typical, I guess to begin with, what some typical reasons are that someone may bring in their pet that could lead to utilizing this vaccine?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are a lot of signs that we can see in our animal companions that could indicate there's a concern for cancer. One of the big things that we recommend families seeing their veterinarian about is if you notice a new bump or a new lump on your pet. Any new bump or lump should be evaluated by a veterinarian and should be sampled to see if it is something that might be cancerous. Another thing that we can see is sudden weight loss in our animal companions that could indicate that there's something serious going on with their bodies, including cancer, or strange behavior changes. Limping in an older dog especially needs to be evaluated right away by a veterinarian.
So you see any of those things happening, and I think, like I mentioned, for pet owners, you're usually probably going to be vigilant about that, but it's really good to know exactly what to be looking for. So you bring... Say you notice one of those things, you notice a lump, you bring your pet in, and then I guess from there, it could be an evaluation of potentially cancer. Is that correct?
Yeah, we evaluate those types of lumps very similar to what your human physician might do for yourself. We will often take a small biopsy sample and have that sent off to a lab to look for cancerous cells. And then we often will do some general screening. We do blood work to monitor overall organ health. We can do some imaging like chest x-rays to look for tumors that might be in the lungs. We can do belly x-rays and belly ultrasounds, an overall health check. And then if you receive a cancer diagnosis, the next step could be things like surgery. It could be speaking with an oncologist about chemotherapy, which are a lot of options for animals for cancer treatment right now. Or it could be this new exciting technology that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I would love to get into that a little bit. So say you do get that diagnosis. Can you talk about this, cutting edge technology, really, this combination of things? Can you tell us, I guess to start off with, what is this vaccine and a little bit of the origin story on that?
Yeah, so the product is called Torigen, and the company is doing some really exciting science to try to help to treat animal cancers. We can use this in many, many different species. Most commonly, the cancerous tumor is removed surgically with the veterinarian, and then a marble-sized piece of that cancerous tumor is sent off to this lab. And at the lab, they take specific cells for that specific tumor for your specific pet, and they create what's called a vaccine, and it's not going to prevent cancer. The goal of the vaccine is to train the body's immune system to recognize those abnormal cells and kill those abnormal cells when they see it. So we don't necessarily have the same side effects that you can sometimes see with chemotherapy, which is a general treatment rather than a targeted tumor treatment, which is a nice thing that we can do this targeted cancer treatment. It's a pretty big thing in human cancer therapy now, and it's starting to become a great tool that we have for our animal companions as well.
Yeah, to be able to customize that, I guess, just to clarify this a little bit more, how important is that in battling the cancer to have something that's customized specific to that animal?
That's an excellent question. It can be hugely important, especially for patients that have types of cancers or severity of cancer that may not lead chemotherapy to be an option for those patients. This may be an exciting way to help to control their cancer enough that it's no longer affecting their quality of life. It's pretty new, so we're not sure how much it might extend survival times, but the risks associated with it are quite low. So any benefit that we might get can be dramatic.
So, I mean, with this kind of, I mean, that sounds great. Obviously, this sounds like a very positive thing, at least as far as being able to fight at anything that works and to be able to customize it like that. Looking at this kind of technology and what is being developed right here, can you extrapolate out and imagine that this would increase, as we get better and better with some of the cutting edge technology and the way that we can combine that with biological elements like this, that this could even get better down the road?
Gosh, we certainly hope so. It's such an exciting way to take this technology, and cancer impacts all of us, whether it's with our human or animal companions or even ourselves. So, any tool that we have to fight that disease is exciting. As a dog mom, a human, and a veterinarian, I'm really excited about it.
Is this technology being used with humans as well?
It is differently, though. You can see similar types of cancer treatments, especially for things like pancreatic cancer. There's lots of different cancers that might respond to this particular type of treatment. I am definitely a veterinary expert, not so much in the human field.
Yeah, totally understand. When it comes to this kind of treatment, obviously something that, just to be frank, that a lot of people will be concerned with as well is what is the cost of this, and is this something that's affordable to do? And I know that's going to vary from animal to animal, I'm sure, from pet to pet, but in general terms, is this something that's cost effective relatively for people to use?
Yeah, when we're comparing this type of tailored cancer vaccine cost to the cost of some of our more traditional chemotherapy options, it can be more affordable for families. And this treatment course is less rigorous. So when we use this Torigen cancer vaccine, the patients come in once a week for 3 weeks to get their injection, and then the treatment is complete. So not only do we have less of a financial impact for families, we also have less of a time impact and less impact on those patients that do not like to come to the veterinarian, because they don't have to come every few days or every week or every few weeks for the rest of their lives, perhaps for chemotherapy.
And you mentioned some of the physical impact. I'm sure, as we all know, chemotherapy can have definitely a physical impact in so many different ways. So compared to that, is this less of, less of pressure, less foreboding for the pet?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. Chemotherapy in animals is the goal is to control the symptoms of the disease that are making the patient feel sick. So we don't quite use chemotherapy the same way that they do in human medicine, where we're trying to extend a life for as long as we possibly can. So our side effects with chemotherapy in our animal patients are perhaps a little bit less dramatic than they are in us humans. It's rare to see hair loss. It's rare to have to go to the hospital for a prolonged period of time. The nice thing about the Torigen is if a family chooses not to pursue chemotherapy or chooses to pursue Torigen in conjunction with chemotherapy, the side effects for the Torigen injection are quite minimal. We may see some mild skin reactions, some redness and some itching associated with the injection site. And in very rare cases, there's a risk for something like an acute allergic reaction, although we've never seen that with patients that we've administered. We watch them for about half an hour after their injection. So if they are having an allergic reaction, we can address that quickly, similar to what a human might have when we first started the COVID vaccines, where you would stay for 15 to 30 minutes after your injection to make sure that you weren't having any allergic reaction signs.
And how long has this vaccine been out? I guess I didn't ask that.
It's fairly new. We've been using it here at Dove Lewis for about 6 months, and it's becoming much, much more popular.
And anything else that you think is important for pet owners out there to know, just going through this, or should they be going through this process, or even just anticipating that this process could happen down the road?
Yeah. The biggest thing is to talk to your doctor teams. Do not be afraid to ask questions. If you see something that you think might be important as a treatment target, or if you have questions, ask those questions. We're here to help to guide you as you're going through this journey with your loved one.
Well, Doctor, thank you very much, for joining us to talk about this and walk through that. I mean, obviously anything that can help out our pets and going through this process for both humans and them is great. So really appreciate you educating us all on that and learning more about this. And I love any time that cutting edge technology can be combined with anything in the medical field and the veterinary field, all of that together just to be able to help ease some everybody going through a lot of this. So thank you very much for joining us here today. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thanks for having me.
And for everybody watching, again, this is Fox 12 Now. So thank you for being here. We start live streaming here every weekday starting at 1 p.m. and we appreciate you joining us. We've got more coming up at 1:30 p.m. We're going to switch gears. I told you we have a wide range of topics that we cover, and that's true. Eric Goranson from Around the House Northwest is going to join us for a preview of this week's episode of that show, and also to talk about last-minute Father's Day gifts. So we're going into that. And in case you forgot, Father's Day is this weekend. So we've got some ideas for you, or Eric does anyway. So he's going to join us at 1:30 p.m. for that. So whatever platform you're on, just pop right back over here. But we'll sign off for right now and regroup. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.